flip the camera around. There we go. Undo this. I'm getting there. Yes, I stopped because the camera I wanted, but it prefers vertical. So, hello everybody. Thank you for joining me on this Facebook Live, and I want to say hello to everyone, my friends in Spain. So, hola! It's so good to see you. And I am in Colorado, in the United States. That's in the mountains, off to the middle part of the United States. I am in a small town called La Vita, Colorado. And La Vita is a town of approximately 800 people. And this is where my offices are and where I do my work. So I see, oh good, thumbs up from Natalia, it's good to see you. So anyway, I'm going to share with you a couple of things today. I'm going to share with you my convergence method. This is so fun and very easy. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about a book I've been writing. It's a novel, and it's about a little girl who's 10 years old, and there's a very important quilt in the story. So stay available for that. And then at the end, I'm going to play the piano for you because I'm in my space and I have the piano here. So I hope you'll have a good time, and I will too. My convergence quilts, let's take a look at the book. This is Convergence Quilts that I wrote several years ago. And the quilts are really fun. Let's get to some of the quilts. Let's go here. And yeah, there we can see some of the quilts here. And the one I'm going to be doing today is these quilts, and I call them Divide and Conquer. They are very, very easy to make. So get ready for this. Now, you may know that I use a lot of hand-dyed fabric. As a matter of fact, look how beautiful these fabrics are. And I'm going to try to use a place that has different color, and I need 2 squares. Now, I can't tell you how big, but I'm just saying about this big. A little bit smaller than a fat quarter, or about a fat quarter. So on this particular quilt, I'm going to use folding like this, and I'm simply going to cut with my rotary cutter and make 2 squares. So Heather, if you want to come on over, that's great. One of the things that I want to say to you is do not put your hand down like you're going to cut this away, because you could cut your thumb. So this is not good, all right? No good. But if you will take your hand and hold here, when you cut your squares, okay, notice that my hand is safe because it's far away from the rotary cutter. So I'm going to do this. All right, now I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it up on an angle so that I know I am cutting basically a square. So again, my hand is out of the way and I'm going to trim. No, I'm not using a ruler because I don't need to use a ruler for this. I don't need to have a perfect edge. It's not necessary to have a perfect edge on that square. So, as you can see, these are now 2 squares on top of each other. Now, because I've got yellow and yellow, I'm going to turn it so that I have yellow and yellow. So you can see what the fabrics are looking like. There's no right and there's no wrong. Just have fun. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 cuts. 2 cuts with the rotary cutter that are kind of gentle. They're going to go with a gentle cut, and I'm going to do them from bottom to about here. And I'm going to do another one from about here to up here. Very gentle. Okay? Now I'm going to take these 2 pieces and swap them out so that we now have 2 blocks side by side. If I move this over, and then move this one over. So I see the 2 blocks. Now I'm just going to check over here real quick to make sure all things are working as well as they can. I should be able to see. There I am. Yep, I'm doing that. So we should be able to see right there, right? All right, so now I want to sew these together. Now, many times we use our 1/4-inch seams. And while I'm having my 1/4-inch foot on the machine, I want to sew this seam. So I'm going to put it right sides together. I'm going to sew this seam with a smaller than 1/4 inch. So you can come right over, Heather, get really close in there. And actually, I'm going to have you come around to the other side because I know what I need them to see. So as I'm sewing this together, I want to make sure that there is a hairline of fabric on the bottom. All right, yeah, it's real still right there. That's good. And as I sew, I want to sew these seams . Now, it is very likely when you get to the end of the seam that it won't match, and that's okay. Sometimes it may be even more, and I'll show you that on the next one. So we'll do this. The thing of it is, with a convergence quilt like this, you can make it really quick. I tell people you can make most of it in about 20 minutes, and you'll spend more time working on your borders than you will on the actual quilt. So let's look. And once again, when you get to the end, this is okay. You can expect it to not match because we didn't include a seam allowance. All right, I'm going to do another one. I'm going to have you back up for a second, just show my whole hands. When I'm doing this, I'm holding my right hand on the top fabric, and I have my left hand so I can drive my fabrics like this. So I'm able to watch. I need to see just a little bit of the bottom fabric so that I know I'm sewing it together. One more seam, and then I'm going to have to press these. Now I have to tell everybody while I'm sewing this that I discovered this method many, many years ago when I was in St. Louis, Missouri, in the city of St. Louis, and I was a young quilter, and like many of us, I had a very messy sewing room. And I decided to get reorganized, and when I was getting reorganized, I found some blocks and some fabrics that led me to experiment. And if I hadn't have tried to clean my studio that day, I would not have been able to discover this. So maybe you need to clean your studio and you'll discover something and write a book too. Let's go press this. You can probably stay kind of light on this, just let them comfort in. I don't care how I'm pressing. I will say, normally we are very careful with pressing. With this method, I like a little bit of spritzer on water, a little bit of water in a water bottle, and I will hold the fabric up and just give it a little press, and I don't mind if I distort it. So this is not normal for most quilters to distort their fabric like this, but it's okay for this particular technique. And I can hold it up, get the seams going in the right direction, and then press, and it will distort a little bit. So Heather, come in, I want to point right here. See how this has bent? It's gone curvy. It used to be more straight, but I've distorted it. That is okay, no problemo. All right. Now, when I put these side by side, you can make a decision to turn them different ways. So I like this one. This one's coming down. This is going up. I want you to think of this, and I'm going to have you go over there for a second. I want you to think of this as being a book. So we're reading the book, okay? We get to the end, fine. We go to the end and close the book. So when I close the book, this side is the inside of the book. This is the spine of the book. From this side is where I will now use my ruler and I will cut. So I'm going to start with my ruler. I'm going to shave off my first little cut, maybe not quite so much. And here are, I'm using inches now, I'm using inches on my ruler. So I'm going to cut my first one. This is gone, out of the way. The next one is 1 inch. Uno. And then 1 1/2. And then move to 2 inches. And cut 2 inches. Then move to 2 1/2 inches. And then 3 inches. So the measurements for cutting are 1, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3. Now, I do not make another cut. Leave it. This is whatever it is. If it's 3 1/2, if it's 4, if it's 4 1/2, it doesn't matter. Leave this. Do not cut this. But do not take it away. It is part of your quilt. So let's open the book. Remember, we closed the book. Now let's open the book. And I'm going to start here, and I'm going to open the book. So I put these pieces back together. It's like putting a little puzzle back together. Okay. Now, I realize that you are upside down, you're watching differently, but from my vantage point, from my point of view, I'm going to number these 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Those are odd numbers. This one is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And now I'm going to put them in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yay! Look at that. Isn't it fabulous? All right, so here, everybody. Now, when I sew this together, I'm just going to match the tops from 1 to 2, 3, 4, and I will match the tops like this, but look at the bottom. It's going to go jiggy-joggy, and I simply sew this all together to finish up this quilt. Now, I've done one for you to show you. Let's hold it up so you can see. I started at the top and sewed the seams down, and if you look at the bottom, it's all jiggy-joggy. That's okay. Now press it with your iron and then use your rotary cutter, and at that point you would be able to trim it up and square it up, and you can add borders. So on this one you can see the border that I added, and I will be able to show some pictures of these for you. As a matter of fact, let's see if I can drop some in. I'm hoping I'll be able to do that. Comment is Ricky. I hope I can drop a picture in. Let's see if I can. Keynote and go there. And I've done many of these over the years. Copy. Go back to my Safari. Paste a picture in. It may or may not let me do that. Live video interrupted. The broadcast is paused. It should return shortly. Don't know why it's been paused. Oh, let's just go ahead and go. Anyway, so I'll show these pictures. So this is the picture that I did, and I ended up using more fabric to build borders that continued the swooping as it would go in and go out. So now I'm a little confused as to why its video's been interrupted. You know why? I know exactly why. Because I didn't put this on Ricky Tim's Inc. It is on the Justin's Network, and that is a bad, bad thing. So I'm going to, that's a good place. I'm going to stop it.